They laughed at her wrist. Not cruelly at first, just a ripple of amusement, the kind that spreads quickly in a crowded hall. It was during a Veterans Day event at the local community center, and Emma, a quiet young woman in her late 20s, had stepped forward to help hang a banner when the sleeve of her jacket slipped. The tattoo glistened faintly under the fluorescent lights, a trident entwined with an anchor, the unmistakable emblem of the U.S. Navy SEALs. The whispers grew louder. Someone chuckled, she probably got it off Google. Another scoffed, as if she'd ever know a SEAL. But Emma didn't flinch. Her fingers trembled only slightly as she tightened the banner rope. She had carried heavier burdens than laughter. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. The hall buzzed with dismissive talk. A group of veterans near the back shook their heads, convinced the young woman was disrespecting a sacred symbol. A mother tugged her child away, whispering that some people just wanted attention. The air thickened with judgment, yet Emma said nothing. She simply lowered her sleeve and took a quiet step back, her gaze drifting toward the framed photographs of soldiers who had served, faces frozen in time, eyes burning with untold stories. She thought of one face in particular, the face she had promised never to forget, her brother, Daniel, years ago. Daniel had been everything to her, protector, teacher, hero. He was the one who taught her to swim, who cheered at her high school graduation, who whispered before deployment, "If I don't make it back, don't let them erase me." He never did come back. His team said he fell saving 2 others, but the details were buried in classified reports. All Emma received was a folded flag, a heavy silence, and the last tattoo he had sketched in a notebook, the very one she now bore on her wrist. But the crowd didn't know that. All they saw was a girl with ink, pretending to belong to a brotherhood she could never touch. Then the doors opened. A hush swept the room like a sudden wind through tall grass. Boots echoed against the polished floor, steady and unhurried. A man in dress blues entered, ribbons lined across his chest, shoulders broad, eyes cold with the weight of memory. He was a SEAL commander, and his presence alone shifted the air. People straightened in their seats. Conversations died mid-sentence. Every gaze followed him as he strode through the hall. Emma lowered her eyes. She wished for once to vanish. But the commander had already seen. His gaze had locked on her wrist, on that tattoo. The crowd braced for confrontation. Some expected him to scold her. Others anticipated him demanding respect for the symbol she had mocked. Murmurs rose like a storm cloud gathering strength. The commander stopped in front of her dot, and then, with precise, deliberate motion, he raised his hand to his brow and gave her the sharpest, most solemn salute. The room froze. Chairs creaked as people leaned forward, trying to understand. The laughter evaporated into stunned silence. Emma's throat tightened. Her knees threatened to buckle. She whispered, barely audible, "You knew him, didn't you?" The commander's jaw flexed, his eyes softening with something almost painful. "He saved my life," he said quietly. "And now I see he kept his promise. He lives on, right there." His gaze flicked to her wrist. For the first time in years, Emma let her tears fall openly. The hall, once filled with judgment, erupted instead with something else: respect. A slow, reverent applause swelled, not for the tattoo, but for the sacrifice behind it. And in that moment, every whisperer, every skeptic, felt the sharp sting of their own assumptions, because symbols aren't claimed by who laughs the loudest. They are carried by who remembers. Emma lifted her chin. She wasn't just Daniel's sister anymore. She was the keeper of his story, the proof that even fallen warriors still cast a shadow of courage on the living. Because kindness doesn't vanish, it waits. And it finds its way back, and sometimes it salutes you when you least expect it. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs reminding that respect runs deeper than appearances. And don't forget to subscribe, because here, every story is a reminder that behind every scar, every symbol, and every silence, there's a truth waiting to be seen.